Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the most deceptive practices in the mortgage industry, hidden origination fees, and I'm going to walk you through a real-world case study involving Chase Bank that cost a borrower $9,000 in undisclosed markup. Let's start with the basics. When you get a mortgage quote, lenders are required by law under TRID, the TILA-SPAT Integrated Disclosure Rule, to provide you with a loan estimate within 3 business days. This document is supposed to show you exactly what you'll pay. But here's where it gets tricky. Chase quoted this borrower, let's call them Sarah, an origination fee of 5% on a $300,000 mortgage. Sarah did the math. 5% of $300,000 equals $4,500. That seemed reasonable to her, and it fell within the national average for origination fees, which typically ranges from 0.5% to 2% according to recent Bankrate data from 2023. But when Sarah received her HUD-1 settlement statement 3 days before closing, something didn't add up. The actual origination fee wasn't $4,500. It was nearly double, approximately $9,000. That's closer to 3%, not 5%. How did Chase pull this off? They split the fee across 3 different line items on the HUD-1, making it nearly impossible for the average borrower to spot the discrepancy. Let me break down exactly how this works. First, the origination fee line item on the HUD-1, line 801, is labeled Lender's Origination Charge. This is where the headline figure appears. In Sarah's case, Chase listed exactly $4,500 here, matching the 5% they quoted, but that's only part of the story. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's 2022 Mortgage Disclosure Study, approximately 34% of lenders use this exact strategy, breaking origination charges into multiple line items to obscure the true cost. The CFPB found that borrowers who didn't specifically ask about all fees paid an average of $2,100 more in closing costs than those who did. Second, the discount points or yield spread premium. Here's where the manipulation intensifies. On line 802, labeled Loan Discount Points, Chase added another $250. Now there's a legitimate reason for discount points to appear on a HUD-1. When a borrower pays points upfront to lower their interest rate, that's a real cost that should be disclosed. But Chase did something different. Sarah never asked for points. She never negotiated a lower rate in exchange for upfront costs. Instead, Chase embedded this into the loan structure without explicit consent. In the mortgage industry, this is sometimes called a yield spread premium, a hidden markup that lenders profit from when they offer a borrower a higher interest rate than they could have obtained elsewhere. According to research from the National Consumer Law Center, yield spread premiums cost American borrowers an estimated $45 billion between 2004 and 2009 alone. While the practice has become less common since TRID regulations took effect in 2015, it still happens, just in more obscured ways. Third, the processing, underwriting, and document preparation fees. This is where Chase got really creative. On lines 803-805, they added loan processing fee, $1,200 underwriting fee, $900 document preparation / flood certification, $650 total, $2,750. Now I want to be fair here. Some of these fees are legitimate. Lenders do need to process applications, verify income and employment, order appraisals, and prepare documents. According to the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, reasonable processing fees typically range from $300 to $500, and underwriting fees from $400 to $800. But Chase's fees were at the high end or beyond it. More importantly, these fees weren't disclosed separately in the loan estimates lender credits section where they should have been itemized with clarity. Let's do the math on the complete picture. Origination fee, line 801, $4,500 discount points, line 802, $250 processing / underwriting / document fees, lines 803-805, $2,750 total lender charges, $9,500. That's 17% of the loan amount, more than double the advertised 5%. Why this is legal and why IT shouldn't be. Now you might be asking, isn't this illegal? Isn't the TRID rule supposed to prevent this? Technically, everything Chase did was compliant with current regulations. Here's why. First, the TRID rule requires lenders to disclose all charges, which Chase did. They listed everything on the HUD-1. The problem is that the rule doesn't require lenders to clearly break down how much is going to the lender versus how much is going to third parties. Second, the loan estimate is allowed to have variances. According to the CFPB, charges can vary by up to 10% for shoppable services and $25 for non-shoppable services. Since processing, underwriting, and document preparation fees are classified as non-shoppable, Chase had broad discretion to adjust them at closing. Third, and this is crucial, there's no requirement that lenders explicitly calculate and disclose their total markup as a percentage. they're allowed to break it into pieces, each of which might seem reasonable in isolation. This is what consumer advocates call the disaggregation problem. When you see $4, $500, then $2, $250, then three separate fees of $900, $1, $200, and $650, your brain doesn't automatically add them together and calculate the percentage. But when you see a single line item for 3%, it's immediately obvious that you're being overcharged. Real-world impact. Let's talk about what this $4, $500 discrepancy actually means for Sarah over the life of her 30-year mortgage. If Sarah financed the $4, $500 additional fee into the loan, she'd pay $4, $500 principal plus interest at 5% equals approximately $22, $881 over 30 years. That's a life of loan cost of more than 5 times the original hidden fee. According to a 2023 Zillow analysis, the average American homebuyer spends only 3-5 hours researching mortgage options. In that limited time, most borrowers never ask for a detailed breakdown of origination charges. Case study analysis. Sarah's situation isn't unique. In fact, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found in a 2023 enforcement action against Guaranteed Rate that similar practices were widespread. The agency cited evidence that the lender was 1. Advertising low origination fees upfront, 2. Adding fees at the last minute that weren't clearly disclosed in the loan estimate, 3. Using technical compliance with TRID as cover for practices that violated the spirit of consumer protection. Guaranteed Rate settled for $4 million, paying back $22,500 borrowers an average of $200 each. But here's the thing, Chase and other major lenders haven't faced similar enforcement actions for identical practices. Why? Partially because individual borrowers often don't realize they've been harmed until it's too late to do anything about it. How to protect yourself? So what should you do? First, don't just look at the origination fee percentage. Request a complete breakdown of all lender fees, including processing, underwriting, document preparation, underwriting, appraisal, ordering, and any other charges. Second, calculate the total as a percentage of the loan amount yourself. If it's significantly higher than what was advertised, that's a red flag. Third, get quotes from multiple lenders and compare the complete fee structure, not just the headline origination fee. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, borrowers who get at least 3 quotes save an average of $2,000 over the life of the loan. Fourth, don't sign the closing disclosure until you've had time to review it thoroughly. You're entitled to review it at least 3 business days before closing. Finally, ask explicitly, what is my total cost to the lender? Expressed as a percentage of my loan amount, make them state a single number. Conclusion. The mortgage industry isn't inherently dishonest, but the regulatory framework allows for practices that obscure the true cost of borrowing. Chase's technique of splitting origination charges across multiple line items is legal, common, and extremely profitable for lenders, but you don't have to accept it. By understanding how these fees are structured and asking